Dear One Plus God family, I pray that you are well today. It's interesting for me that between the last prophet that we hear speaking in the Old Testament, Malachi, and then the Gospel starting with Matthew and onwards, there is a 400 period of silence that we don't hear anything new through one of the prophets. So you have to ponder this question. If God knew that there would be a 400-year period between Old Testament and New Testament, Malachi and Matthew, then the last part of the message of the Old Testament must be pretty important, right? What would you find in Malachi before there's a 400 period of silence and then Jesus comes? Well, it was interesting for me when I looked at that again, that in Malachi chapter 3 and right before the end of Malachi, Malachi ends with chapter 4 that literally only has 6 verses. So chapter 3 is pretty close to the end of Malachi. A big portion of Malachi is dedicated to tithes and offering. It's dedicated to giving. No big surprise that when you look at Jesus coming, it's all about what? It's all about giving. It's about Jesus giving himself to you and me. It's about Jesus giving to the extreme. It's about Jesus giving sacrificially, giving his everything to you and me. Yet, during this time of the coronavirus pandemic, churches and ministries have seen that giving have decreased. People have stopped giving. Yet it is so opposite than what the world does, right? When a country is being hit by some enormous medical disaster, then what does the countries do? The governments do, not only the government of America, but even the governments of some poorer countries. They try to help their people. They give back more than usual, rather than gathering taxes and so forth. What happens is if a country is being attacked physically, like through 9/11 or World War I or World War II or whatever war comes against your country, what happens? People are ready to give more. They're ready to put even the lives of their children on the line and say, you need to go and defend our freedom. Husbands would leave wives behind. Fathers would leave their children behind. People know that when pressure comes, you need to be ready to give, and you need to be ready to give even more. Yet, the churches in a time where the need is tremendous. I have just shared with our stateside missionaries over the last couple of days. If we look at our global missionary partners, our missionary partners elsewhere in the world, then we realize that the need is staggering. It's almost overwhelming. There is cries for help all around us every other day, yet there is less to help because believers have shrunk their giving. Now, of course, I understand that things could truly be tough. It could truly be so that people would struggle to continue giving. I am not so convinced, though, that that is always the case. I think we need a heart check. I think we need to double check if we're not using this as an excuse to get out of our giving. That would be a horrible mistake. Let me take you to Malachi chapter 3, where we read in verse 6, the Lord does not change. He says, I did not change, but you and your forefathers have changed. How have you changed? You've changed by turning away from me. And then the people ask God, how should we turn back to you? Where should we start? And then we read, the Lord Almighty says, you ask, how are we to return? Verse 8, this is God's answer. Will a man rob God? Yet you rob me. And then the people ask, how do we rob you? And God answers, in tithes and offering. And you would say, well, isn't it weird that God would say that the way that you need to return to me is through tithes and offering? Is it only for God? And we often make this so negative, right? We jump immediately into our defensive role, oh yeah, God is just about money. The church, the ministries is all just about money. I want nothing to do with that. No, you're missing the whole entire point. God knows. God knows that if your heart is not right, it would be impossible for you to open your wallet. In Old Testament times, if your heart is not right with God, it would be impossible to give your best lamb to God, to give from the first fruits of the harvest to God. God knows it is a hard matter. Jesus says in Matthew 6:21, now remember, Old Testament ends with Malachi. New Testament starts with Matthew. We have this powerful message of giving in Malachi 3. Just a couple of chapters further, in other words, although 400 years have elapsed, but just a couple of chapters further in Matthew chapter 6, from Malachi chapter 3 to Matthew chapter 6, in the big sermon that Jesus gave on the Mount of Beatitudes. This is what Jesus says, Matthew 6:21, where your treasure is where your heart will be. So be careful, be careful. You need to give to God what belongs to God. You cannot stop giving to your church. You cannot stop giving to the ministry. In the beginning of this year, One Plus God launched a 2020 vision campaign, right? 2020 means perfect vision. We prayed about it. God laid this on our heart. This would be a great way to also get our finances straight, to also get enough funding so that we can continue to support our global ministry partners and continue to make a difference to the glory of God. And we thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could use this 2020 number? One person already started it by giving $20 a month. It means that $2,000 is left. 2020. How great would it be if 40 people could increase their giving with $50 a month, or start to give $50 a month, so that we can have 40 people giving $50 a month, already have one giving 20. It could get us to an increase in giving of $2,020 per month, which would make an incredible difference. And then COVID-19 hit. Everything was being put on a pause. And yesterday in church, you want to guess what the pastor preached about? Not me, the pastor of the church that we attend. And he preached about Malachi, the entire book of Malachi. And as I sat there, I was reminded that, we need to be faithful to God. We need to be faithful to what God calls us to do. And God has called One Plus God Ministries to launch a Vision 2020 campaign in 2020. So today we are relaunching this campaign. Today we are encouraging you to turn back to God. Today we are encouraging you to do a heart check, to ask you what has happened with your giving in 2020. What has happened with your giving since the COVID-19 pandemic? Be sure that your heart is right with God. One indicator of that is to ask this tough question. Where is my treasure? Because where your treasure is where your heart will be at. God is challenging the people in Malachi. He says, turn back to me. They ask how. He says, you need to get your tithes and offering in order. It cannot be in order if your heart is not in order. And he says, then once that happens, when your giving is as it should be, test me and know that I will continue to journey with you in a blessed way. And I want that for you. I don't want you to rob you of that opportunity simply because this is a tough subject, simply because you could be offended by this. No, I want you to be blessed in every area of your life, and therefore I need to have this tough message to you too, because this is one of the big things that the Old Testament ends with, and one of the big things that the New Testament begins with. Jesus giving is all for you, and therefore says, I want you to give your all to me, to your God, to your Savior. May your giving continue to be what it should be, to the church that you serve at, to the ministries that you are involved with. Today, we are encouraging you. Please go to oneplusgod.org, click on the friendly donate button. You will see there's a list of things that you can donate to. One of it says Vision 2020. Be one of 40 people that either increase or start giving $50 per month. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord continue to journey with us. He has not changed. May we therefore not change by turning away from Him, but change by turning towards Him and then live with our God that's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And may that journey continue forever. May the Lord bless you. May He keep your health intact. May He continue to journey with you so that you can have a deep sense of His presence. God bless you.